Thank you. These hearings, of course, are being recorded by the Zoom system as well as our court reporter. And ask you, of course, to be as cooperative as you can. One final thing that I will share with you is that we continue to receive information from various attorneys representing cases as recently as this morning. We have a rule that requests that all of the exhibits be submitted to Friday before the hearing begins on Tuesday. It's difficult for us to review the information and to be prepared to adequately and fairly hear your case if you submit documentation the day of. And so again, I'm encouraging not to do that, to submit it on time. If there is a special exception needed, of course, things happen. But we want you to be as diligent as you possibly can be to get all of the material to the board and also to your counterpart. And so the individual sitting across from you in this case has an adequate opportunity to review the material and to make sure we have a smooth hearing. It would be unfortunate if your case is not handled to your satisfaction if we don't have the data in front of us or the information, and we make decisions that you believe are contrary to the information that you have to provide. Thank you very much. Again, the board will introduce itself and then we will begin the hearing. Again, I'm Kenneth Woodson, board chair.
Ralph Pincus, board member.
Steve Pettit, board member.
Roger Esteen, senior board member.
Beverly, you muted.
I beg your pardon. Beverly Penn, board member.
Ed Jefferson, board counsel.
Sherelle Alfred, board administrator.
Thank you very much. Ms. Penn, just add to your name, please, your title.
Sure.
Thank you very much. Okay, and you will see an image to court reporter. The court reporter is with us today as well. And so now let us begin. We will call on the individuals representing the city of Philadelphia to determine if there are any particular matters that we can dispose of pretty quickly. Let's see here. Jason Greenspan.
Good afternoon, members of the board. I am here, I believe it's number 30 on your list. It relates to 2000 South Larry Street.
Yes.
The violation number, just for the purposes of the record, is, appeal number, I believe, is CF 2022-050388.
Yes.
So my opposing counsel, Mr. Andre Dover, he is on the call. They requested a continuance. This is for an intent to cease. The city, because of the fire violations, have been corrected, and the remaining outstanding violations are related to the zoning and the certificate of occupancy. The city is not going to oppose their request for a continuance for 60 to 90 days. And just for the purposes of the record, I have my inspector here who would affirm that those fire violations have been corrected.
Okay, now, Mr. Dover, I believe I see your image. Would you mind unmuting and introduce yourself, please?
Good morning. Well, good afternoon, members of the board. My name is Andre Dover, representing the property owner of 2000 South Larry Street, Sylvia Caba.
Okay, now, and an intent to cease property or case is something that we're reluctant to continue, principally because of the dire nature of the case. Otherwise, it wouldn't be listed as an intent to cease. So has the city changed its position in terms of cease operations, Mr. Greenspan?
Yes, as I indicated, the fire code violations that were one of the major reasons for the basis for the cease, my inspector has indicated that those violations have been corrected. The remaining violation, which they've made an application for zoning, remains pending, and they need to go through that process, which is I have made clear to Mr. Dover. However, like I said, those fire code violations relating to egress, those have been corrected.
Okay,
Yeah.
Is this a single family zone, single family used as a multifamily?
It's zoned R3.
R3.
How they're using it is it's an office.
Okay, okay. All righty, then we'll contain this matter. Just want to be certain for the record that we are not looking at a catastrophe in the making, that we are not concerned about loss of life or serious threat to property, correct?
Yeah, Chairman, if I could just have Inspector Lloyd Minor, he is here and can confirm as such.
Okay, Mr. Minor, I'll need to swear you in before we hear from you. I don't see his image anywhere. Is he on?
Yes, he's on. Mr. Minor, could you unmute yourself and have your video turned on, please?
Okay. Mr. Minor, would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or confirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
He's trying to connect, Chairman. He's
Oh.
not connecting. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Actually,
my
he
apologies.
just- He just got through.
Okay. Given that we have 3 pages of participants today, of course, you don't see everyone unless he says something, his image won't pop up.
Yes, Inspector Minor,
Yes, I'm here, Inspector Minor.
Okay, Inspector Minor, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn?
Yes, I will.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
Okay, thank you.
do we need to see his image?
It would be good unless Mr. Greenspan can.
Is it on?
No, your image is not on.
Okay. You see it?
Mr. Greenspan, do you recognize the voice of Mr. Minor?
Yeah, this is Inspector Lloyd Minor.
Okay, I see his image now. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, for the limited purposes of establishing the basis for this continuance request.
Mr. Minor, is it your contention that the fire code violations have been corrected and the only outstanding violations that remain are the certificate of occupancy and the zoning?
Yes. So they complied with all the violations, fire violations, and they didn't give me any indication that they're not trying to comply with the zoning. They're out of time.
Okay,
Thank you.
all righty.
Does that satisfy the board?
I have a question, which is based on the current trajectory, if that's the word at the zoning board, is 30 or 60 days going to be, or 60 or 90 going to be, unless, because it's an appeal, is this case going to be processed and heard within 60 or 90 days?
So that's what I was leaving it up to the board to give them an extension to allow them more time to apply for the zoning. And at the end of that time frame, if they haven't obtained it, I intend to cease it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, what are we recommending, Mr. Pincus? What would you think is the more appropriate time frame?
Well, Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yes,
I do have one question, please.
Mhm.
Inspector Minor, I understand the city attorney stated that the first floor or the ground floor is the office. The upper levels, are they residential occupied?
No, they're office space as well. They converted it into office space, but the problem is they don't have the zoning for the building, you know, to operate that then, and they have to change the use and obtain the zoning required.
Oh,
It's a
that's fine.
very-
I just was concerned that was any residents living above it. Thank you.
No, they're not sleeping there, no residents. They have 2 offices on the 2nd floor. And the basement, it's just regular storage, and they cleaned that up as well.
okay. So why don't we do this then? We will continue the case. Mr. Greenspan, I think 90 days is at least the minimum that you're going to be dealing with here. We like it to move forward without having to come back if possible. Okay, all
Understood. Thank you.
right, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Dover, for your patience and participation.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it, members of the board. Thank you.
Okay, all righty. Mr. Greenspan, is that the only one you have for us today?
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, all righty. Mr. Router?
Good afternoon, members of the board. I have 4 cases on today's list. 2 of them can be marked moot complied.
Okay,
So the first one actually is number 1 on your list. On the list, it looks like, at least the list I have, it was misspelled. It should be Niaz Ali, A-L-I.
okay,
The appeal number is HA 2021-000093. And I understand that you've received a notification from Mr. McElhaney representing Mr. Ali, stating that that they were withdrawing their representation. But it's our contention that that's, I mean, You can grant that, that's fine. We don't have a position on that, but it's probably not necessary since the matter can be marked moot. Violation in question was for having too large of a vending cart, but the cart's not too large anymore because it doesn't exist. Our inspectors have indicated that it has not been seen at the site for over a year, and the license has since expired. So
Okay,
this appeal is moot.
okay, thank you. We noted as moot.
The second case we have that can be marked moot complied is number 13 on the list, HA 2021-001185, Maria Ramsal, Ramsal, and it involves the property located at 2059 East William Street. This was a violation issued for, they were required to produce an engineer's report in connection with some work that was going on that caused, I think, a partial collapse. This was a while ago. That engineering report was provided after this appeal had been filed, and that matter can be marked moot complied. So I would just like to indicate in this case, for instance, just as an example, it is a 2021 case, but the appeal, the violation was issued in 2020, and I think the appeal was originally filed in early to mid 2020, but it didn't get the appeal number. So just to note for everybody's understanding, the appeal number, the date and the number doesn't necessarily reflect the date of the violation or the appeal itself, because this appeal actually dates from 2020. So anyway, this was complied some time ago, and
Okay.
I don't believe the appellant is here.
Okay, well, it's moot compliant, so there's no
Right.
attorney in this matter either.
Not that
right?
I'm aware of, no. Mm-mm.
Okay, now you said you had 4 additional cases. Are
I
they,
have one other case where the city is requesting a continuance. This is number 11, HA 2022-000703. The appellant is Peter Nguyen, Nguyen, and it involves the property at 6200 Woodland Avenue. We do understand that this is an appeal from an intent to cease. However, some of the violations involving the fire code have been corrected. The main violation, and actually another one of the violations was, I think, or should be, if it hasn't been already, withdrawn, because they did actually have zoning for one of the things that was cited. However, they do have occupants in the basement, which is not permitted by the code. They don't have a zoning permit for it. It's extremely unlikely they would. And our understanding is that the owner has been trying to have those occupants removed. We do not know the nature of their occupancy, whether they are squatters, whether they had a verbal lease with the prior owner and are overstaying their welcome. We would note that the current appellant is now the owner of the property. This was established at a previous hearing where a deed was produced that just had not yet been updated in Philodocs or OPA records yet. But the appellant is the current appellant is the current owner. And I think one of the, and our inspector is actually not available today. He had a pre-arranged vacation before the date of this hearing was announced.
Good afternoon. If I may interject, this is Mark Feynman. I represent the appellant. And
okay, Mr. Feynman,
first
just
of-
for a moment. No, Mr. Feynman,
Yes.
just for a moment. Let me hear out Mr. Router, then we'll invite you to join us. Okay, just for a
Yeah,
moment.
that's fine. I just wanted to
I
make.
know,
everyone
but just
aware I
don't
was
say
here.
anything else.
That's
Thank you.
fine.
I was going to mention that I had been in contact recently with Mr. Feynman in connection with this. We understand that the occupancy of the basement is an issue, but again, we don't understand the nature of that, and we would rather not be in a position where the city has to execute a cease and essentially evict persons in the property who may actually, at least with respect to a lease, or they may have some right to be there. In other words, it would be the city's preference that play itself out through landlord-tenant court, rather than having the city come in and essentially take sides in that dispute. The fire code violations, as I've indicated, have been corrected according to the information that I have and that was able to obtain from the inspector before he went on vacation.
Okay.
So I would rather get that this matter be continued.
Okay, Mr. Feynman, what is your position on this request for a continuance?
I have no objection at all. I agree with the representations made by Mr. Reuter. I will just add the tenant who is in the basement is a squatter. We've already filed suit as of February 2022 in the Court of Common Pleas for an ejectment to get that individual out. The other violations, which were some fire code violations, have been addressed, and my client has worked closely with the city on that. So at this point, it's just a question of when that matter is going to be heard. We do know as of right now, it's on the trial list for September 2022 to be heard regarding the filing by the appellant on the ejectment action.
Okay, thank you then. So just two things for the record. Our records are indicating that this is a property maintenance matter, but in effect, this is an intent to cease case, just to make sure the
Yes.
record is corrected. Secondly, the continuous request has been approved and was approved in executive session with the caveat that is on a must be heard basis. So the next time it comes up, unless this has been resolved, we must hear the matter and resolve it at that time.
Thank you.
That's fine and acceptable. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
All right, have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And members of the board, I do have one other case that's 28 on the list, and that we can go forward with.
Okay, alrighty, we'll do that in its proper order.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, let's see who's next here. Mr. Kellett. James C. Kellett.
Good afternoon, members of the board. James Kellett, attorney ID 319663. I'm here today only on matter number 4 on your list, which is appeal number HA 2021-004518. Counsel for the appellant is present. The city is requesting to withdraw this matter.
So give me the listing number again, please.
Number 4, sir.
Number 4, and this is a withdrawal.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. DeMarco, are you present?
Hi, good afternoon. I am. Thank you.
And do you concur that this is the appropriate disposition and withdrawal?
Yeah, the city's withdrawing the notice and rendering my appeal unnecessary and moot.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
Okay,
you.
thank you. Have a good afternoon as well.
Okay, is that the only one, Mr. Kellett?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all righty, Miss India McGee.
Good afternoon, members of the board. India McGee for the City of Philadelphia. I'm here today on cases 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27, which are all related to the Advan 6 facility.
Yes.
Counsel for Advan 6 is here on the call, Jessica Hunt, and Ms. Hunt had submitted a continuance request prior to the listing today, which the city is in agreement with, as the parties are currently working towards settlement of these violations.
Okay, given the nature of the business and the fact that it's an air quality matter, of course, we consider these matters very important and want to make sure that the appellants are taking them seriously. And so just wanted to question you and the counsel for the appellant a little closer on this. Is this something that we believe can be resolved rather quickly and will be meeting the existing standards? Air
Yes.
quality standards? Yes.
Yes, the violations at issue are either complied or they are actively working toward that compliance, and Air Management Services is overall satisfied with the progress.
Okay, and who's representing the appellant? I don't see that person. I just want them to speak up and go on the record.
Hi, members of the board. Jessica Hunt with Manco Goldcatcher and Fox representing Advan 6.
Okay, and is it your representation that your client is prepared to resolve these matters during this period of this continuance period?
Yes.
Okay, alrighty. Thank you. If there's nothing else from members of the board, we will grant the continuance. Again, it's on a must be heard basis. We need to make sure this will be heard the next time around, and this will not be a continual carousel of continuances. Okay?
Understood.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you.
And that concludes my matters before the board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see here. And so, let's see here. Mr. Christopher Johnson.
Good morning, distinguished and honorable members of the board. This is Christopher Johnson for the city of Philadelphia. I have 4 matters scheduled on today's list, and a few of them should be resolved forthwith. First, I have number 9 on the list. It is the appeal of the contractor license suspension of Catalyst Builders
Okay.
LLC, represented by Mr. Jeffrey M. Scaffaria.
Okay.
I have been in contact with Mr. Scaffaria in an attempt to resolve the appeal. He had a medical emergency with a family member that he had requested a continuance yesterday. City does not object to continuing it for a period of 30 to 45 days. It is my expectation that when it comes back, it should be resolved.
Okay. All right. Thank you. We reviewed this in executive session and needed to hear your representation now, so we will grant the continuance.
I also have number 14 on the list. It's the appeal of Shirley Hall. The
Okay.
appeal is number HA 2021-01193 for violation CF-2020-089819 related to property maintenance issues at 862 East Woodlawn Street. The department's position on this is that it should be marked moot complied. And the reason was there were later violations that were written and the building was deemed unsafe. And the property in 2021 was demolished as part of the city's demolition program.
Oh, because we received a request from Ms. Hall to continue the matter. I'm not sure why that request was submitted.
Well, the city's position is there's no basis for her to maintain the appeal on those earlier violations from
Okay.
2020, since the property was demolished in 2021.
Okay, so it's a moot. Okay,
Moot comply.
moot complied. Thank you. You have anything else?
Yes, I have number 17 on today's list, the appeal of Omwashar Mather. It's related to the property at 4947 Hawthorne Street for lack of a rental license. Based on our review of the records, Mr. Mather has since obtained a rental license, and it should be marked as moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you very much. All righty. And is that it?
I also have number 18, the appeal of Vernon Lucas regarding 2612 East Somerset Street, and that is a ready matter.
Okay, thank you. All righty. Ms. Dejanay Davis.
Good afternoon, Board. Dejanay Davis on behalf of the City of Philadelphia. I have one matter on the list today. That is a moot matter. That matter is listed, I believe is the last one listed, number 33. Case number HA 2022-001979.
Okay.
That
And-
matter is now moot.
Moot. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Let's see now.
Ms. Scott.
Miss Nakia Clark.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Board. I have 5 matters before you today. A few of them are moot complied. So
Okay.
the first matter number 3, HA 2021-001213. That's moot complied.
Moot complied. Okay.
Number 12, HA 2021-001164. That is also moot complied. That property has been demolished.
Okay, now we have it noted as withdrawn, but it was
Withdrawn because maybe the property is demolished. We found out today that it complied.
okay. Alrighty, thank you.
I received a continuance request from the board. My assumption was that this case was continued, but it's up to the board's decision. But that's number 15, HA 2021-001274. I received that email yesterday from Deborah.
Okay, and there's an attorney, Dan Dugan, representing the appellant.
I believe it's
This
a
is
different
Adam Filbert. I'm from Dan Dugan's office, Inspector Gadden Rosen Vinci. I'm representing the property owner today.
Okay, so what is the request? What's the basis for the continuance request?
So Mr. Rooklyn is the property owner of 1116 Tabor Place, and he's actively attempting to comply as quickly and diligently as possible. And the requested continuance would allow him to work with his insurance company to receive the proceeds necessary to do so. He's not currently in a financial situation to make those repairs out of pocket. So he's been forced to rely on the insurance proceeds to pay for those repairs.
Was there a fire or something?
No, there was no fire. That he actually, the property is a rental property, and the current violations were caused entirely by the actions of the previous tenants who've since been ejected from the house. They breached the terms of the party's lease agreement, vandalized and destroyed the property, and all throughout they refused to allow Mr. Rooklyn access to the property to make those repairs necessary. He got into the property last July and immediately began kind of working on all of the necessary repairs. But like I said, he isn't in a position financially due to the COVID-19 pandemic and then the tenant's refusal to pay rent before they were ejected. So he's been working with insurance in order to get the money to make those repairs. But they initially kind of gave him a couple $1,000s, and he immediately put that in and has already completed several repairs, including the window replacements and heating replacements and things like that. And now he's kind of working with them to move that forward and get the additional funding needed so that he can repair it and bring it back in compliance.
Okay, I guess the only other question is that are the units occupied or vacant?
No, they're currently vacant, and he's secured the property, so no one else can get in other than him and his wife. They're aware of kind of the safety concerns of that, so they made sure that no one else can get in. And he's simply just requesting the additional time to work with that insurance company so he can make those repairs.
Okay, it sounds like maybe some of those previous violations are now moot, but I will leave that to the law department and LNI to determine. So we will continue this matter.
Well,
But it has to be.
I have a question,
Yes.
if I may, Mr. Woodson.
Yes, sir.
According to Council, he started working on this last July, so we're 11 months at something being worked on. And
Yeah.
how much longer is it going to take? And is LNI or its council okay with that?
So with the initial delay, he had a traumatic brain injury, which kind of rendered him incapacitated for an extended period of time. And that was kind of an initial delay. And then other than that, it has been kind of this little snag with the insurance company, but we're currently working to work out those issues. And as that money comes in, he puts it right in and goes to work kind of making those repairs.
Nakia Clark on behalf of the City of Philadelphia. With the information that was just provided for the board, for that basis, I believe we can kind of proceed with the case. The appellant has admitted to the violations, and we would just be seeking a city affirmance for those bases.
Okay. Mr. Dugan, are you prepared to move forward today?
It's Mr. Filbert is
Mr.
who's there.
Filbert, my apologies.
Yes, we're prepared to move forward. I think our whole position is just that we are working as diligently as possible and as quickly as possible, and as the money comes in, like I said, it's going. The work is starting immediately.
Sure, I understand.
It's just getting that money.
Yeah, but essentially your client submitted the appeal, And we want to address these matters and get them out of our system as quickly as we can. And so there's no time like the present to do that. Does the city need an inspector or anything to be present, or are you prepared to go?
Is Inspector Jerry Cruz ready for 1116 Tabor Street or Place? Is he on?
Okay. I'm not sure who you already speak.
Inspector Cruz is here.
Okay, so since we have an inspector, we can proceed.
Okay, all right, thank you. We'll call it in when it's time for it. Okay, thank you. We're here today.
And then
Okay.
May I ask a
one more
question?
case.
May I ask a question, since Mr. Filbert has represented that he just needed time and the violations are what they are? Do you need to present the case, or would you agree to a city affirmation and a 60-day enforcement stay?
You know what? It's funny.
We will agree to a 60-day or 90-day enforcement.
Okay, wait a minute. We're getting some background noise from someone. So, Mr. Cruz, yeah, thank you. All right, now say it over again, please, Ms. Clark.
The city will agree to a 60 or 90-day stay. I can be, if Mr. Filbert wants to get in contact with the city and we can work up some sort of settlement agreement, that should be fine as well. For city of Durham, 60 days.
Okay, Mr. Filbert, I guess the question is to you, as to whether or not you want to present your case or have the board vote to affirm the city's position with an extension of further enforcement for 60 to 90 days.
Yeah, the only issue I don't know if the 60 or 90 days would be necessarily sufficient. Just because, like I said, we're kind of working with the insurance company as we speak.
Okay, let's do this, because we spent a lot of time on these preliminaries. Let's call the case when it's time for the case, okay?
Okay.
I just want to move on to get these other preliminaries out of the way. All right, thank you. We'll hear the case. Ms. Amy Scowls?
Wait, I have one more case.
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. Ms. Clark?
So number 29, which is HA 2022-002338. So that's
Okay.
an emergency cease case, but the city has not yet had an opportunity to re-inspect the case. So we would like to ask for a stay of enforcement and a continuance to the next earliest possible date.
Okay, is anyone here representing Mr. Arthur Brown?
I believe so.
Who would that be?
Mr. Brown is here.
Okay, and so does Mr. Brown require an attorney? Is this a corporate matter or an individual?
This is a individual. It appears that it was once a daycare of some sort of zoning issue, which caused the cease order to be initiated.
So what's the status of the business now? Has it been ceased or is it still operating?
It's still operating. There's no business operating. I believe there's an apartment in the basement.
Mr. Chair, do we have an inspector available for this particular case?
Ms. Clark, what do you have? You have an inspector? Are you prepared to move forward? And I guess your point is that you aren't prepared to go forward.
I don't see the inspector on the call. Is Inspector Wallace? I believe Inspector Wallace is on a call. He's muted.
Okay, but now you requested a continuance, correct?
We're requesting a continuance so that we can have a re-inspection before proceeding with the cease operations of this property.
Okay, Mr. Brown, what is your position about the city's request for a continuance?
Yeah, I actually asked for a continuance myself. I'm trying to get the permit null and void because I didn't do it. A former tenant who was evicted acquired the permit to make it a daycare, which I didn't give her permission to, and it's the main infraction on my for the cease.
Okay. The daycare is no longer operating there, is what you're saying?
No, and I don't intend to put a business in that part of the house.
Okay. All right, let's do this then. Let's give the city and Mr. Brown an opportunity to resolve this. Potentially, you won't have to come back. So we'll continue the case. Okay. Thank you.
The rest of my matters are already matters.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Miss Amy Scowls.
Yes, I am just here for one case, number 31, and that's a ready matter.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's, Mary Costello.
Good afternoon, Board. I'm here for two cases. I have case number 8, which we have a settlement agreement, and I believe the attorney representing the appellant is here
Okay.
to
Yeah,
withdraw.
Michael Williams, attorney for Fred Selleck.
Okay, would you represent the content of the agreement, please?
Counsel, do you want to represent it?
Sure, I think what we had agreed was that he would withdraw his appeal, but essentially the agreement is that the contractor has.
Oh, wait.
agreed-
If he's willing to withdraw the appeal, so Mr. Williams, is that the case? You prepared to withdraw the appeal?
Yeah, as long as the agreement stands. Counsel, I'm gonna have to email you the agreement later because the first draft he signed, but then he left the office.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Well, but it isn't so fine with me. If it's going to be withdrawn, let's say put that on a record and you guys work out anything you need to after that. I'm just trying to make sure these proceedings are done properly. So is it the appellant's willingness to withdraw the appeal? Is that the case?
Correct.
And you're working on other matters, other outstanding violations. Is that correct?
Well, the agreement would resolve it altogether.
Okay, so we could list this as a withdrawn matter then.
Yes, you
Yes,
can.
please.
Yep.
Okay, it's withdrawn based on
Thank
the
you.
representations of the counsel for the appellant. Okay, thank you very much. Okay,
Okay, and that was case number 8. And then I also have number 2 on the list, which is HA 2021-000263. And I don't believe that the vendor has appeared.
okay, I think that we have a different appeal number. We
Yeah.
have HA-2022-002672.
That is correct.
Okay, already. And the appellant is Anthony Clark.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Costello, what is your, are you representing that's moot or you want to
So-
continue? What is your position?
So I believe since he is not here today, we would just ask for a city affirm non-appearance.
Okay, we'll call that up when it's time to hear it then, but you aren't, I'm asking for any continuances, withdrawals, or resolved matters. So this is not, this case doesn't fit either of those definitions, okay?
Okay.
So we'll call it when it's time for it to be heard. Okay, anything else?
If I may, for a second, Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
I had called number 17 on the list, Almushar Mather, and I still see him on the call. But I believe that violation has been complied and was marked as moot complied. Can he be
Correct.
dismissed?
yes, absolutely. Mr. Mather, you may be excused if you choose to.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, your case is resolved, but if you want to sit in as a civic exercise and listen to all of our cases, we're welcome to the room, okay?
Okay, thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Alrighty, let's see here. Miss Jane Wong,
Good afternoon. I am observing from the city.
okay? Miss Lauren Curry,
Good afternoon. I have 3 matters today. The first, number 6, will be going forward.
okay?
And then there are 2 that are moot. Number 5, that's appeal number HA 2022-000259 for 7814 Mercury Place. And that
Okay.
one is moot complied, but I believe the Pelly is present.
Okay, Mr. Noble Watson, are you present?
Oh, yes. Good afternoon to the board.
Good afternoon. Please note that the city's representation that your matter has been resolved is moot compliant, okay? So you're free to move on with the balance of your day. Have a good afternoon.
Only, can I say one thing?
What is that?
I got a call. I'm contesting the fee. They say I called the wrong department, and I'd like to know, is there a number or something I can call?
Well,
'Cause
let's do this. The board can't help you that way, but the attorney for the city, Ms. Curry, can you connect with Mr. Watson and answer his question, please?
Sure, that would be the tax review board, I believe.
Okay.
But yeah, I can, I believe I have his phone number. I can give you a call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ms. Curry, do you have another one?
Yes, the other one is number 7. That's number HA 2022-000463 and that's 2235 Benson Street, and that is moot complied.
Move complied. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Alrighty, let's see here. Miss Caroline Curley, I don't believe I've called on you yet today.
Good afternoon, board. I have a few matters that are moot and withdrawn. Beginning with number 10, HA 2022-002563, petitioner Norwalk Lots. That appeal was withdrawn with an agreement for an 180-day stay of enforcement. I believe Ms. Alford confirmed that with petitioner's counsel.
Okay.
Yes.
And number 20 on the list, I believe that's HA 2021-000912. I believe that's already been indicated as withdrawn.
That's withdrawn.
Number 21, HA 2021-000931, petitioner Front Street Donuts LLC. That is withdrawn, I believe, or should be marked as withdrawn rather.
Okay, we'll note it as withdrawn.
And that concludes all my withdrawn and moot matters.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.
Let's see here then. Just everyone be patient with me. I'm just scanning the board, see is there anyone else I haven't spoken to. Okay, I believe I've called on anyone. Is anyone that I haven't spoken to who's employed by the City of Philadelphia Law Department is representing a matter before the board today? Miss Maggie White, are you observing or do you have any matters before us?
I'm just observing today. Thank you.
Okay, and so I think that's it. Okay, all right, thank you very much. So let us now go back to the list and begin calling our cases.
Okay, I'm sorry.
What's the first one on your list, Ms. Alfred?
I think that would be number 2. Is that still Anthony Clark? That wasn't resolved, correct?
Yes, that would be the first case to tackle today.
This is case number 2, appeal number HA 2022-002672. Appellant is Anthony Clark. The property address is 3548 Germantown Avenue.
Okay. That's number 2, HA-2022.
Yes.
002.
002672.
Okay, who's representing the city?
So I'm representing the city on this matter.
Okay, thank you. Is Mr. Clark present? Mr. Anthony Clark present?
He was just on. He was just here.
Okay. Did he get kicked out of the room or something?
Not that I know of. I don't know if he thought when you spoke with him before things were resolved and he hung up.
Okay, let's do this. Ms. Costello, have you had any conversations with Mr. Clark?
No, I have not heard from him.
Okay, we're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt for about 10 minutes. So Ms. Costello, if you could indulge us, we'll go on to another case and come back to this. Otherwise, I hate to resolve this matter without him being present, if in fact, for some innocent reason or some technology reason, he was kicked off the screen. So we're going to give him a chance to be reconnected.
Okay.
So let's hold on to this and we'll come back to it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. What would be next?
Case number 6.
Okay.
Appeal number HA-2022-000432. And the address is 1320 Folk Rod Street. Matt Scherer is the appellant.
Okay. Who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, Lauren Curry on behalf of the City of Philadelphia.
Okay.
And I also have my witness here, Mr. Hashim Murphy.
Okay, thank you. Is anyone present representing the interests of Matt Scherer, S-H-E-R-E-R, at 1320 Folk Rod Street? Okay, what time was Mr. Scherer invited to join us today?
At 1:15 p.m.
1:15. Have you noted for the record whether or not he's been on or not?
No, I don't see him.
Okay.
I don't see him.
Ms. Curry, have you had any conversations with him?
I have not.
Okay, what's the nature of his violation?
It is a fresh air inlet that was not visible on his property.
Okay, alrighty, let's do this. We can't, so if he's scheduled to be here 1:15 and he's not been with us yet, I think we need to proceed. Mr. Pincus, what time do you have today?
It's 2:15 PM.
2:15 PM. He was scheduled to appear at 1:15 PM. He's an hour late. Okay. Ms. Curry, what is your pleasure?
I would ask for city affirmed for want of
Okay.
appearance.
Okay, thank you. Well, with regard then to appeal number HA-2022-000-432, Matt Schurer, 1320 Falkrod Street, city affirmed non-appearance.
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 Thank you very much. That matter is resolved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Mr. Murphy, you can be excused as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, what do we have next?
Next we have number 15. And the appeal
Okay.
the appeal number is HA-2021-001274. Appellant is Alan Brooklyn, and the address is 1116 Tabor Place, represented by Dan Dugan.
Okay, Mr. Filbert, I think is representing Mr. Dugan's office. Okay, all righty. So the city of Philadelphia, let's get started and let's see what we can do to resolve this so that we can get this moving. Who's representing the city again? Someone's muted, so.
Kia Clark on behalf of the city of Philadelphia.
Okay, Ms. Clark. So would you put your case on the floor so that we can sort of try to resolve this?
Yes, so this case is in reference to a property which has multiple fire and property code violations. The property is located at 1116 Tabor Place. And at this time, the city would like to call its witness, Inspector Jerry Cruz.
Okay. Mr. Cruz, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
Okay, thank you very much. You can place your hand down. Okay, Ms. Clark.
Can you please state your name and occupation for the members of the board?
Name is Jerry Cruz, occupation LNI Inspector, East District,
And how long have you been working in that position?
5 years.
And what are some of your primary duties in that role?
Go out and do complaints that people put in, go to the properties, do a thorough check of the property, make sure the electrical system's good, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, holes in the walls, plumbing fixtures. We gotta check everything, make sure everything's working properly.
And are you familiar with the property at 1116 Tabor Place?
I've been there, but I wasn't the one that wrote the case. I didn't go in. I've been on the outside of the property. I never got in. The 2 times that I've gone there, knocked on the door, nobody opens the door. The side gate that leads to a door on the side of the property is chained up. There's no way for me to get to that door. I've gone there on 2 separate occasions and nobody opens the door. So I was assuming that there's no one there.
Have you had an opportunity to review the LNI paperwork, et cetera, for this property?
Yes, I have it in front of me.
So with the board's permission, at this time, I'm going to share my screen with the board.
Okay.
Here. No, I don't care.
Inspector, I'm showing you what has been previously marked as Exhibit 1. You recognize this?
Yes,
Okay, what is it?
that's the NOV, notice of violations. All the
And-
violations that were written on the property.
And is this document kept in the ordinary course of business?
Yes,
So if you could just walk me through what the violations for 1116 Tabor Place is pursuant to this NOV.
the first one is 305.3, which is interior surfaces. There were holes in the walls and ceilings throughout the property. There were pictures that were included inside of the case of all the holes in the walls and everything throughout the property. In the basement, in the kitchen, in the living room, rear bedrooms, all bathrooms, also in the basement. So there were holes throughout the property.
And then can you just give a quick summation of the remainder of the violations at the property?
It looked like some plumbing. There were some plumbing issues also for leaks. Toilets that weren't working. Plumbing fixtures, skylight that was inoperable.
And the violations that you're listing, are
And
they,
then there is one here for open splice wires, electrical system. There was open splice wires in the property, in the basement and in the rear. So there was open splice wires that needed to be fixed.
and are the violations that you just listed, are there any life, health, and safety concerns that may be raised pursuant to those violations that you just listed?
Well, the electrical ones are ones that need to be addressed because that's life safety. If they also have to have smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detector within the property. You know, the holes in the walls are not life safety, but the things that need to be addressed, need to be taken care of.
So at this time, the city is going to show you what has been previously marked as Exhibit 3. One moment. Let me zoom out. So Exhibit 3 is going to be a series of photos. I'm not going to go through every photo, but just a few. If you could just walk us through what we're looking at as we proceed through Exhibit 3.
Those are open splice wires there. Those wires should not be like that. They should be inside of a junction box with a cover on it. They're not supposed to be exposed.
And
Like the holes in the ceiling. More holes in the ceiling. Looks like it might be the basement.
one moment, I'm waiting for my computer to respond.
Okay.
What are we looking at here?
That's the oven. There was one of the violations that it wasn't working. It was inoperable. That's the walls and ceiling, deteriorated and falling apart.
And then the last photo that I want to go through is
That was a ceiling fan. Obviously, the bottom half must have fell off. You got exposed wires there.
And as you previously stated, in your training and experience as an inspector, are the conditions that we just reviewed in the photos safe conditions?
I would say they need to be repaired, all of them. You can't bring somebody into that property in the condition that it's in.
And lastly, and to your knowledge, are these conditions and violations still present at the property?
As far as I know, yes, there was a phone number on file for the owner. When I went out there, when I called the number, it's someone else's number now. So I didn't have a number to get a hold of the owner. The owner also never contacted the first inspector that went out there and wrote the case. So we don't have any contact with the owner whatsoever.
So no further questions. At this time, I would like to request that all exhibits presented to the board today be admitted into evidence, and we
Okay.
reserve argument.
All right, thank you. So noted. Mr. Filbert, do you have the owner present or any witnesses to support your case?
Yes, I have Miss Lisa Brooklyn, who's the owner's wife.
Okay, and okay.
Yep,
Let
she's
me
here.
swear in. Ms. Brooklyn, if you would unmute yourself, raise your right hand so that you may be sworn. You have to unmute yourself, please.
There we go.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please proceed, Mr. Filbert.
Okay, good afternoon, Miss Brooklyn. Can you just please state your full name again for everyone here?
It's Lisa Brooklyn.
And what's your relationship with Alan Brooklyn?
He's my husband.
Okay, and now the property at issue here, was that used as your own residence or as a rental property?
It was a rental property.
And was there a lease that was attached with the previous rental?
Yes, there was.
Okay, and under that lease, who was responsible for making repairs on the property?
Originally, it was the original people that moved in there, that John, Joanne, and the son Johnny Streeper.
Okay, and did they make any repairs throughout their time on the at the property?
No, well, they did say they repaired the leak in the kitchen, but it was repaired with duct tape.
Objection to that, Chair Singh.
Okay, may I ask you so that we can sort of get through these details. Mr. Filbert, is Ms. Rooking, is she actively engaged in the management of the property?
Yes, she is.
Has she regularly visited the property?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll overrule the objection based on that. Okay, please proceed.
Did Mr. Brooklyn end up making any repairs to the home throughout the time that the previous tenants were there?
Yes, he did.
And what kind of stuff did he do? Kind of walk me through a couple of those.
He remade a repair in the bathroom for a leaky tub. The tub was leaking. He did replace the handles and the faucet. That's where it was leaking from. Well, do you want to know what repairs were done now?
The repair, no, this is while they were still living in there.
Okay, mainly the leak in the bathroom from the tub. That's pretty much what they would let us in. When he did do that, they tore it back apart.
Okay,
Mr.
Filbert, let me ask you this, so that we can move this forward. Is the property currently occupied with different tenants?
No, it is not. There are no tenants there, and Ms. Brooklyn can attest to this as well. But like I said earlier, they've secured the property. The only people that have been going in there are the two of them when they're working on repairing the property to bring it into compliance.
Okay, so the violations that were noted today and the written notice of violation and the photographs still exist, or those are violations they're working to repair, correct?
Yeah, well, I can have her kind of walk through, if you'd like as well, some of the repairs they've already done, if that would.
If they have completed repairs, ones that we saw today or ones that are noted in the list, she can say that, but we need a re-inspection to really confirm that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have exhibits of some of that as well. I was gonna
Yeah, let's get to that if you can. What she did while somebody was living there is not really helpful.
Okay. Yes. So then Ms. Brooklyn, we will.
If
I'm
I may,
going to.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
If I may, why don't we have the Brooklyn family contact the Department of License Inspection to allow them to get in to make a necessary and much current inspection?
Sure. Well, let's ask them. Yeah. Is there any reason why we after today's hearing can we do that, and why that hasn't been done?
That's correct, because the inspector said he attempted twice, no response.
Yeah.
Am I able to talk?
Yes. You can talk.
Okay. I did try. I have the phone number of Mr. Cruz that I did try and call him a couple times with the note that he left us.
Okay, Miss Rookin, you can't talk and walk. It makes everybody. You have to stay stationary.
Okay, I'm sorry. I did call Mr. Cruz. I got the slips he left us. The voicemail was not set up. So I'm not sure what number he has, but it would either be my phone number or my husband's, and those numbers have not changed.
Okay.
We do have the fence locked. And the doors barricaded because we did not want them to try and get back in, because the threat was made that they would come and do more damage. Everything in the living room, like all the ceiling, the walls, everything that was leaking and falling was all taken out. The kitchen, the stove, everything was cleared out. All demolition has been done.
Now, do we have permits that have been acquired for this work?
Well, my husband put we put windows in, which I didn't know if we needed a permit for that. We had the windows put in.
Okay, Mr. Filbert, let me ask Mr. Filbert, if your client has either directly or through contractors, third parties, making substantial repairs, you're very familiar with the requirement for permits, right? And those permits would help make your argument that in fact they're making a good faith effort to comply with the violations. If they haven't done that, and they say on the record they're proceeding, that's a whole new set of discussions that will have to be had with the department. Do you understand where I'm headed here?
Yes, I understand what you're saying. Yes.
Mr. Chair, if we
Yeah.
can make a connection between Inspector Cruz, his number, and Inspector Cruz's supervisor to the attorney and Mrs. Rooklyn, we can verify that they would contact someone in that office to do a current reinspection, and this could be resolved, hopefully.
Yeah, except that I want to make a decision today. I don't want this coming back. So that's why, thank you. That's a good suggestion that they do that before we finish today. But Mr. Filbert, where we are, you're saying that your client has made certain repairs already, is moving forward, correct?
Yes. They've done some, they've been working, like I said, with the insurance company in terms of making that happen.
You have photographs to show us?
Yes, that's what I can pull up. I can share my screen if.
And after you do that, Ms. Clark, after he does that, do you have any cross-examination with Ms. Rookin?
No, I do not. This argument.
Okay, Ms. Filbert?
One moment. So can you see that there?
Yes.
Let's see if I can zoom out just a little bit for you. So, Ms. Rooklyn, can you kind of explain what was done here in this room in terms of repairing it?
Okay, all the floorboard heaters, I guess they were called, were ripped up and torn out, and we replaced them.
Okay, and then in this second one, is that the same thing, another view?
Yes.
Okay. And then here's a third view of that. And then in terms of this room, what kind of work was done?
The windows,
Okay. So the windows replaced.
yeah, throughout the whole house.
Okay, and then here, is that the same kind of thing? That's a different room?
Yes.
Okay. And then once again, just another window replacement, kind of patching up this stuff.
Yes.
Okay. Then is another one, just this is a continue to be sure for the record, just
Yes.
another room.
Yes.
Okay, and another view.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, yeah, so we got a couple of these, and then from the outside, can you tell me what was done here in terms of the windows?
The windows, they were all broken. We replaced them all.
And was there anything with the air conditioning units that you've done?
Yes, my husband did brick up. They removed the air conditioners that were in the wall, left the casing, and he bricked up the holes,
And why did he have to do so?
because, they tore it all out.
Okay. Yes. So then and then what is this last one here?
That's the basement window that was kicked in. That's
Okay.
laundry room.
And then is this just an outside view?
Yes.
And then that's the pictures that we have so far for the board.
Mr. Filbert, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Those are property maintenance photos. I was looking as a board member for the electrical code violations, the electrical panel box and the ceiling fan. Any photos of the repair of that?
We do not currently have any photos of that. Ms. Rooklyn may be able to testify as to any repairs done to that. Ms.
Yeah,
Rooklyn, have you?
I will have to double check with my husband, but I am pretty sure he put the box back together in the basement. And the ceiling fan is down. That will be replaced eventually.
Yes, I think at the end of the day, I think we're fully on board, and the property owners are fully on board in bringing this to compliance. Right now, as I've mentioned a couple times, it truly is just a lack of financial ability to work out of pocket in terms of getting the stuff done. And it's more so just working with the insurance company, who's been a bit slow, and we're in the process of working through all of that to kind of get everything done. They as you can imagine, they were very disappointed when they got into the home and saw it was completely destroyed and ripped apart after years of not being allowed access. The tenants, like she said, threatened them when they came. They put a dog outside the house so that they couldn't come at any time. And it was simply that they had no ability to get in to even see what had happened, let alone do anything about it. And now that they finally have the access to the house is where they're kind of starting to try to get things back together and comply. And that, at the end of the day, that's what they want to do. They want to comply. They recognize the safety hazard of it all, which is exactly why they've kind of locked it and chained it up so that no one can get in whatsoever. They have no plans on renting the house to anybody until after all this is over and they're fully in compliance. They wouldn't do anything that would harm any resident.
I have just a follow-up question for, oh, Ms. Penn, please. I've been speaking a
I was
lot.
going to ask if I could ask a question.
Sure,
of
please.
Mr. Filbert.
Yes.
You mentioned several times that the Brooklyns are waiting for insurance proceeds. What's the time frame in which the Brooklyns anticipate receiving the funds to make all of the repairs?
I don't know if there's a dead set time frame. They've been working now for a while. They don't have an exact timing because, like I said, it's working out these issues. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Filbert. I beg your pardon.
Yes.
Go
ahead,
ahead. Oh, no.
finish your statement.
Okay, yeah, it's they're trying to work through a couple issues in terms of getting the insurance company to come. The insurance company was taking the position that it was neglect and that's what made it that much worse. And right now what the Brooklyns are now saying to the insurance company is the same kind of thing we're saying here, which is they had no opportunity. They were threatened when they tried to enter the home. There was a dog outside. There was no way they could get in, but that they're obviously working as quickly as they can to kind of get in there and do these things. And then now they're trying to fix it is where the insurance company was kind of halting them for the time being. But
And
that's
can I ask you one last question? How long has it been since the conversations with the insurance carrier began? Because it seems that if the insurance carrier is failing to comply with their obligations to the Brooklyns, we have an additional issue. But I'd just like to know how long they've been in this fix and when there's some expectation of receiving funds, because even we're not trying to Miss Clark's case for her, but we need some information to help us make a decision.
And I think Miss Brooklyn could probably testify better to that than I could at this time, in terms of the conversations with the insurance
On
company.
that point, please.
Yes, so Miss Brooklyn, at what point did you start contacting the insurance company to kind of get these proceeds and get things rolling? Kind of walk us through the process that you took getting the money from the insurance.
Okay, well, they had to come out, they had to, take pictures and, look and see what was going on and everything. Honestly, they gave us a certain amount of money and we're fighting to get the rest sooner than later, but they're not really giving us any timeline on when they will give it to us. So I just talked to the gentleman that came to the house to inspect from the insurance company. And he said he's doing what he can. And that really was his answer.
Okay. All right. One final series for me. Mr. Filbert, is Mr. or Mrs. Rooking, are they licensed contractors? Either of them licensed contractors?
Miss Rooklyn. I don't believe Miss Rooklyn is. I'm not 100% sure about Mr. Rooklyn.
Can she?
Yes.
Do you
Miss
mean as
Rooklyn,
far? Go ahead.
yes, yes. What kind of qualifications does Mr. Rooklyn have in terms of
I
making?
didn't
the
ask that. I didn't ask that question. What I asked, are they licensed?
Okay. Miss Rooklyn, is Mr. Rooklyn a licensed contractor or?
Well, he's not a licensed, carpenter or anything.
Okay, Ms. Rooklyn, are you a licensed contractor?
No,
Okay, Ms. Rooklyn, are you a licensed electrician or plumber?
no,
Is Mr. Rooklyn a licensed electrician or plumber?
no.
Okay, now, Mr. Filbert, it appears that you have some additional issues here that you're going to have to advise your clients about. I'm not an attorney, so I won't wade into that. But it appears that work is being done without permits, and so that's a violation. And so instead of resolving your matters, you're making them more complicated. You're presenting evidence against yourself on the record. Because Miss Rooklyn, did a plumber do the heat and runs?
No, my husband did, but
Okay.
he's
Okay.
not very handy
Okay.
at doing
Okay.
this.
Okay. And the electrical repairs that are required, who did that work?
Well, he closed up the box. I would have to ask. I mean, it was him. He did all that work.
Okay.
Yeah, I think at the time being, in terms of the electrical work, it was more sealing off. There wasn't anything replaced, just making sure that it's safe for the time being.
Correct.
And then as the insurance company, and obviously the property owners would be happy to kind of work through those issues as well.
Okay,
but
let's
at
do
the-
this.
at the-
Let's do this. Ms. Clark, do you have any final comments? I'd like to get to final argument so we can vote here. Just so we've heard your case and we understand where the Rooklyns are in terms of what they need to do. The building is now vacant, so there's no active matter with tenants in it. So Ms. Clark, do you have any closing comments?
Yes, so a notice of violation was initially issued on December 20th, 2020, and it gave defendant until January 23rd of 2021 to comply those violations. Today, the defendant has admitted on multiple occasions that the violations in the appeal still exist today. And in the appeal from appellant stated that they just needed additional time to comply those violations. However, today they also indicated that 60 to 90 days will not be enough time to comply those violations because they are awaiting insurance proceeds to fix and make the repairs. So even if the inspector was to go out to the property and do a recent updated inspection, and even if he was able to arrange something with the appellant so that he can enter the property and complete the inspection, it is likely that the property violations and property maintenance issues will not be complied. And so it is the city's position that the city is requesting a city affirm from the board due to the likelihood that the violations will not be complied within a reasonable time period.
Okay. Mr. Filbert, do you have any closing comments?
Just briefly to respond to the timing. When the violations came in, again, that was that same time frame where the Rooklyns did not have access to the property. Like we have said, we understand the condition of the property and are willing to work towards that in the best and safest way possible. Should there be an affirmance, we would request a stay of the enforcement and kind of give us some time to work with the city to kind of create that timeline and allow the Rooklyns to work with LNI and figure that out so that they can, like Ms. Clark just said, that they can get this done in a reasonable time frame and work with the city to do so.
Okay. And Mr. Filbert, is this the only investment property that the Rooklyns own in Philadelphia?
I believe so, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Alrighty. Thank you very much. And again, Mr. Rooklyn, just one general comment. All work should be done by appropriately licensed professionals, and you should be submitting permit applications for work. Okay, with regard to HA-2021-001274, Alan Rookin, 1116 Tabor Place, City Affirm.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
Thank you very much. The vote is city affirmed. Thank you, Mr. Philbritt, Ms. Brooklyn, for your patience and your participation. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Okay, what's our next case?
Our next case is number 16, appeal number HA-2021-001277. Appellant is Hector Gill. Address is 4508 North Reese Street.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Nakia Clark on behalf of the city of Philadelphia.
Ms. Clark, good afternoon. Mr. Hector Gill. Mr. Hector Gill. Is anyone here representing Hector Gill? Ms. Clark, do you know if this is a corporate matter or is this an individual who is in violation?
So this appears to be an individual.
And the building permit, does it note the type of construction involved?
So it appears that they have an enclosed porch and they built an enclosed porch at the property without the proper building
Correct.
permit, and they don't have the proper zoning permit as well.
Okay. Alrighty, no one's responding to Hector Gill's name?
No,
or
but we
for-
have an unidentified telephone number.
Okay, let's see who that is.
Hello, I'm looking for someone that belongs to telephone number 267-880-8297. I'm asking them to unmute. There we go.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, what is your name?
Hello?
Hello, what is your name?
Yes, my name is Anthony Clark.
That's for case number 2.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay,
we'll be right back with you, Mr. Clark, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
okay, now,
Alright.
no one responding to Hector Gill. Okay, Mr. Pincus, what time do you have?
2:47 PM.
2:47 PM, okay. Alrighty. With regard then to appeal number HA-2021 -001277, Hector Gill, 4508 North Reese Street, City affirmed non-appearance.
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 Thank you very much. City affirmed non-appearance. Thank you. Let's go back up to case number 2.
Okay.
Call that one in.
This is case number 2, appeal number HA-2022-002672. Appellant is Anthony Clark. Address is 3548 Germantown Avenue.
Yes.
Okay, who's
Hello?
representing the city?
Good afternoon, Board. Mary Costello on behalf of the city of Philadelphia.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Clark, we need to see your image,
Yes.
sir.
I was trying to, I really don't know how to work this thing, because I was calling in to, they said if you can't do the Zoom call, to call the number 267-831-033. And that's what I did.
Okay, now,
I've been
when you-
sitting here listening to a lot of cases, and I heard y'all calling my name, but I kept saying something, but I get no response. So it just said, press *6 to unmute. So I just did that, and now y'all can hear me. So I don't know. I was just
okay,
been
does
sitting on the phone all this time.
okay, does it give you any instruction as to how to make video? Are you using a smartphone, sir?
No, I'm on an iPhone.
iPhone is a smartphone, so it should give you video opportunities. On that screen, it should be a little camera, image of a camera. If you click on that, that should give you your video should show up.
Yeah, it won't give him that option because he did a call in versus the link.
Oh, yes, okay. You're right, absolutely. Okay, then what we need to do, Mr. Clark, we need to swear you in and have you elocute to the fact that you are in fact who you say you are. Okay? Ms.
Okay.
Costello, you, just before we do that, Ms. Costello, you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty. Mr. Clark, raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm that you are in fact Anthony Clark, representing the interests of the vending case at 3548 Germantown Avenue?
Yes, I am.
And do you swear or affirm that you in fact will tell the truth, everything you say in this matter will be truthful, so help you God?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Alrighty. So, Mr. Clark, I need you to listen very carefully. The city of Philadelphia, represented by Miss Mary Costello, will present the case. After she's done that, we will invite you to share your understanding of the facts before we vote. Now, before we even begin that, the vending location, is that owned by you as an individual or is it owned by a corporation?
No, it's owned by me.
So there's no LLC or nothing like that. It's just Anthony Clark.
Yes. Sidewalk sellers.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Ms. Costello?
So I do have one witness here today, and it's Maureen. And I do believe that she is on the call. Maureen Blaney?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Ms. Blaney, can you in fact give us your image as well?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Ms. Blaney, raise your right hand so that you may be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Ms. Costello?
Okay, and I do have one exhibit. With your permission, may I share my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Now, before you have Ms. Blaney testify, you need to make sure that you make sure that she's properly introduced and she's and identified.
Okay. Ms. Blaney, can you please state your full name for the record?
Yes, Maureen Blaney.
And what is your position with the city of Philadelphia?
I'm the supervisor of the vending unit.
And what are your duties as supervisor of the vending unit?
I oversee the inspectors that inspect all the vendors throughout the city.
Okay, and do you recognize Exhibit A on your screen?
Yes.
Can you tell us what this document is?
This is a revocation letter that was sent out by, Ms. Thomas, who was previously a supervisor with the vending unit, stating that Mr. Clark had not been out at his location for 20 days, not operating. In addition, his tax account number was closed out and his vending license expired in 2014.
Okay, and why was his license revoked?
Because he hasn't operated. And because in checking, the tax account is closed out and his license is expired. Therefore, he has no license. Once you close your tax account, your license is invalid, but his was expired in 2014.
Okay, so what would be required of him to maintain his license every year?
He has to renew it every year. You have to reopen his tax account and he has to renew his license each year.
Okay, and does that require him to fill out paperwork or submit a fee?
Well, at this point, yes, they can go online and renew it, or they can schedule an in-person appointment to go in and renew it.
Okay, and he's failed to do that since 2014, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and at no time since 2014 did he ever attempt to renew his license?
No.
Okay. And at no time since 2014 did he attempt to reopen his tax account.
No, not according to what I see.
Okay. All right, I have no further questions for Ms. Blaney. The city would request a city affirm in this matter.
Mr. Clark, do you have any specific cross-examination questions of Ms. Blaney based on her testimony? If not, just tell us your understanding of what your vending status is.
Yes, I understand.
Okay, tell us your understanding of things. Where are you in this whole vending operation?
Well, to my knowledge, I understand that you have to renew the license every year.
Okay, so why haven't you renewed your license and why has your tax account been closed out?
Well, around that particular time, I was sick. I was in a bad accident. So I remember going to court downtown, and the judge asked me, was I going to go back to work? And I said, well, right now I can't because I'm sick. So
Okay, what were the dates of that? When did you have the accident and how long were you out sick?
Well, it was in around 2014, and but I don't remember the exact date that.
Okay, 2014, you had a bad accident. Okay, you became ill.
So I went to court.
So
and they set the tax ID number down because I wasn't going to be working.
okay, so when is the last time you vended at that location?
It's been quite a few years.
Okay, so basically you abandoned that vending location, correct?
No, I did not abandon, sir.
But you haven't been back in quite a few years.
Well, yes, due to my illness. I don't call that abandoned because they shut the license, they shut the tax ID number down.
Okay, are you able to vend today? Are you physically able to vend today?
Yeah, I'm much better now.
So what is your plan in terms of vending again?
Actually, I've been calling down the license inspection because with my illness and everything, my son wanted to take over my license and run the business. He know about it. He's been doing it for years.
But sir, that isn't what I asked you. I asked you when you would be going back to vend.
Well, if I'm not able to transfer the license into my son's name,
you can't do that. That you can't do because at the moment you don't have a license. Your license expired.
Yes. So you're saying that I can't.
I'm saying that you don't have a license.
Send it to the family, give it to my son, let him run it.
Sir, based on the information that the law department has given us today, your license expired several years ago and you don't have a license. You checked it. Have you looked at your license details? I don't think you can transfer something that you don't have.
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Who is that? Oh,
Maureen Blaney.
Yes, Miss Blaney. Miss Blaney, I tell you what, you're a witness called by the city, so you need to, Miss Costello has to allow you in.
Maureen, is there something that you would like to add?
Yes. He can't, either way, like even if he didn't have a license that was expired, you still can't transfer. But if his son wants to operate at that location, he can contact me and then we can give him an award letter to get the license to vend there. Because there's currently nobody there we revoked it and I didn't realize the appeal, but so there's nobody put in that location. If his son wants to operate at that location, he can contact me.
And what is your name?
My name is Maureen Blaney, the vending supervisor.
Vending supervisor. Can you spell your last name, please?
Sure, it's Blaney, B as in boy, L-A, N as in Nancy, E-Y.
Okay, Blaney. All right,
Okay.
and licensed supervisor. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Anything else from anyone?
No,
Okay.
we would just request that in light of the fact that his license has it's been expired for 8 years, that we have city affirm.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Then with regard then to appeal number HA-2022-002672, Anthony Clark, 3548 Germantown Avenue, city affirm.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirm.
City affirmed.
Thank you very much. City affirm. Let's move on to the next matter.
Hello?
Okay, Mr. Clark, we resolved the matter. City's position prevails. You can appeal the city's position if you choose to, but you would call L&I and they would explain to you how you should do that. But today's case is over.
Okay, so I'll
Okay.
just give her the license inspection supervisor a call when my son is ready to come
Yes.
down and get it together. Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, understand. There's no guarantee. So if he's serious, he has to do this right away. This is
Yeah.
not something. Okay.
Yeah, understand. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good day.
All right, thank you.
Okay. What's next?
Case number 18, appeal number HA-2021-001493. Appellant is Vernon Lucas. Address is 2612 East Somerset Street.
Okay. Thank you. Who's representing the city?
This is Christopher Johnson for the city of Philadelphia.
Mr. Johnson? Mr. Vernon Lucas. Mr. Lucas, are you present?
I
Mr.
don't
Johnson?
believe anyone has appeared on this case.
Okay. Is this a contractor's violation or a property owner's violation?
Well, Vernon Lucas was a contractor for the electrical work where the violation was issued at 2612 East Somerset. I know that property has been transferred out of the owner, the original owner, who was cited for that violation back in 2021. So I know that this violation is still outstanding, and we're going to ask today that the board find city affirm non-appearance.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. Pincus, what time do we have?
3:03 p.m.
3:03 p.m. Okay, then with regard to appeal number HA-2021-001493, Vernon Lucas, 2612 East Somerset Street, city affirm lack of appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much. City affirm non-appearance is the final vote. Okay, where are we at next?
Next, we are at case number 19.
Okay.
Appeal number HA-2021-002734. Appellant is Louise A. Rodriguez. Address is 2449 Ridge Avenue, and this is the appeal for our interpreter.
Okay, and before we get to the interpreter, I just want to, who's representing the city?
Caroline Curley, good afternoon again, board.
Okay, Ms. Curley. Just one moment, please. Okay, in this matter, Ms. Curley, do you, well, who's the interpreter? Let me start there.
I am the interpreter, Mariana.
Okay,
Lopez.
yes, we should raise your right hand so that we can swear you in, please. Do you swear to faithfully translate from English to Spanish, Spanish to English, these matters regarding 2449 Ridge Avenue?
I swear.
All right, thank you. Now, what I'd like you to do is to interpret what we're saying continually. And so we will give you time to speak in Spanish so that the appellant can hear you and respond. And direct the appellant to make all of his responses through you. And so we will only hear your voice representing his responses to all of the other inquiries, okay?
Mr. Chair, I do not believe I see the appellant on the
But
list.
that's why I'm going to ask her to call his name.
I think everybody's on here is from the city of Philadelphia. Everybody that's
Okay. Okay, but for the record, I need her to do that. So would you call Mr. Luis Rodriguez, 2449 Ridge Avenue?
Buenas tardes, estamos tratando de contactar al señor Luis Rodríguez de la avenida 24, perdón, la dirección 2449 Ridge Avenue. Luis Rodríguez, se encuentra en el cuarto.
Any response?
¿No responden?
Okay, thank you. Ms. Curley, in this matter, is this an individual property owner or is this a corporation that owns this business?
My understanding is this is a corporate entity, and this actually was continued at the last listing to allow this individual to obtain an attorney. I have not heard from this individual. I did, through a colleague of mine, was informed that there was an attorney on this matter. I did attempt to make outreach, but did not hear back from him, nor am I aware of any communication sent to the board on this matter.
Okay, you have a health department representative present, correct?
I do.
Okay, Miss, I believe I see her image, Miss Wilkins. Miss Wilkins, unmute yourself. Let me swear you in because I'd like to ask you a question. Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
Okay, Ms. Wilkins, have you had any contact with the owners or Mr. Luis Rodriguez himself regarding this matter?
No, I have not.
Okay. And your information, is it a corporate entity or Mr. Rodriguez as an individual?
It's corporately owned.
Okay. So there's no attorney. We've extended a courtesy to him before to gain an attorney, and that has not happened. Miss Alfred, was service provided to Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes, it was.
Was an attorney listed for him?
Lori Han Moslin Esquire.
Okay, spell that last name, please.
I actually believe that's for number 20.
Oh,
is
wait,
for
I'm
19.
sorry.
Yeah, that's.
I'm sorry, wrong folder.
Okay,
No attorney.
no attorney? Okay, alrighty. Mr. Pincus, what time do we have?
3:07 PM.
3:07 PM. Given the fact that this was scheduled to happen at 1:15, we have extended the courtesy of continuing this case at least once before to obtain an attorney, and we've made the arrangements for an interpreter. Mr. Rodriguez is not present. So what we're going to do is proceed to resolve this matter. With regard to HA-2021-002734, Luis A. Rodriguez, 2449 Ridge Avenue, city affirmed non-appearance.
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 Thank you very much. That resolves this. An interpreter, thank you for your participation. Unfortunately, your client didn't show up. So have a good
Thank you.
afternoon.
You as well.
Okay.
Goodbye.
All right. Okay. What do we do next?
Case number 22,
Okay,
appeal number HA-2021-002743. Appellant is Raul Serrata. Address is 6900 Old York Road.
okay. And who's representing the city?
Caroline Curley.
Caroline Curley. Ready? And is Mr. Serrata present? Or Mr. Serrata's representative? Okay, no one representing Mr. Serrata. Again, Ms. Curley, do you know whether a lawyer was required in this matter?
I do not believe a lawyer was required for this matter.
Okay. Alrighty, it's now after 3 o'clock. Mr. Pincus, what is the time?
3:09 PM.
3:09. Ms. Curley, what is your pleasure?
I would ask for a city affirm based on non-appearance.
Okay. With regard then to HA-2021-002743, Raul Serrata, Serrata, 6900 Old York Road, city affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City
City
affirmed
affirmed.
non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much. City affirmed non-appearance is the final vote. Okay, what's next?
Okay, next we have case 28, appeal number HA-2022-002287. Appellant is James M. Abreu de Villar, and the address is 6811 Oxford Avenue.
Okay, who's representing the city? Okay, not everyone speak at the same time.
My apologies, board. That is Mr. Reuter's matter. Just give me one moment to notify him.
Okay,
He had to step off very briefly.
okay.
All right. Okay.
If the board is advisable, he is having some computer issues in addition. Is it possible to move on to the next matter while he rejoins us?
Okay, actually, yeah, we can do that because I don't think the appellant has arrived yet. So let's do that. Okay,
you,
call
sir.
the next case after that one, please.
Okay, the next one is case number 31. Appeal number HA-2022-002568. Appellant is Anthony Turner. Address is 6102 Germantown Avenue.
Okay,
Amy Skiles on behalf of the city of Philadelphia.
and Ms. Skiles, good afternoon. Who's, Mr. Anthony Turner, are you present? Ms. Skiles, do you know if this is an individual matter or a corporate matter?
This is an individual matter. The appellant is an occupant at the cease. He's just
Okay.
an individual.
An individual resident with
Yes,
a
correct.
leasehold?
A tenant.
A
Mhm.
tenant with leasehold interest?
Yes.
Okay, alrighty, Mr. Turner present? It doesn't appear that Mr. Turner is present. Do you know if this property has been ceased already? Is it vacated?
Not yet. We were waiting for this hearing to proceed with the cease.
Okay, well, Mr. Turner has not responded. What is your pleasure?
We would ask for a city affirm for non-appearance.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pincus, what time do you have?
3:13 PM.
3:13 PM? Okay, alrighty. We'll poll the board then regarding HA-2022-002568. Anthony Turner, 6102 Germantown Avenue, city affirmed non-appearance.
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 Thank you very much. Final vote, city affirmed non-appearance. Thank you.
Thank you.
What's next?
We have case number 32, appeal number HA-2022-002486. Appellant is Marguerite Gamble. Address is 2028 East Tupple Street, and she is present.
Okay, thank you. Ready, and who's representing the city?
Good afternoon again, board. Caroline Curley.
Okay, Ms. Curley, good afternoon. Ms. Marguerite Gamble. Ms. Gamble, I don't see your image.
I'm asking her
Okay,
to unmute.
okay.
Okay, Hi, Ms. Gamble.
I don't see her name anywhere.
I have her at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, yes, okay. Yeah, she's muted.
Yeah, I'm asking her to unmute several times.
Is there a way to connect with her directly?
I can send her a direct message.
Okay, see if that will help.
Okay. Okay, I sent it to her.
Okay,
You wanna, we still have, we have something still left, right?
we have the matter with 6811 Oxford Avenue, waiting for Miss Ryder to join us.
Okay.
And I think that's it.
That is it.
Uh,
She must have stepped away from her device.
yeah.
Let me see, can I give her a telephone call? If you give me a minute.
Okay.
She's having difficulty. She's gonna go out and then come back in, and I'll let her in immediately. And we have a Samuel Hayward in the waiting room as well.
Which case is he affiliated with?
I do not see his name on the list.
Okay. Any luck getting Mr. Router back in? Miss Curley, has anyone spoken to Mr. Router to determine whether he needs to go to a different device or something?
I think
'Cause
I do not have an update for him.
Chairman, he's still trying, he had to restart his computer. He's having more technical difficulties.
okay. Okay. We may have to continue that matter otherwise.
Can we find out who Mr. Hayward is, or whether that's the right name and he's here?
You want me to bring him in?
Yeah, let's do that. At least we can try to resolve that.
Oh, he's an intern with the city. I'm sorry. I just got a chat from someone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
let's do that. What time? We're having 20 after 3. We have 3. The time is 3:20. Why don't we go off the record until 3:25? And hopefully that'll give everyone a chance to get on who's getting on. Then we'll make a decision about what we're going to do to close out today's hearing. Okay?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, am I correct? There are only 2 open cases that are.
2 open cases. There's 2 open matters.
Thank you.
So actually, let's go make it to 3:30. We go out to record until 3:30.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, let's call Ms. Gamble first. Is everyone back? Do we have a quorum yet? Yes. I don't see Ms. Gamble's image though. Is she able to? Okay.
Here she is.
Okay, let's read.
Can you
Let's
see
call.
me now?
Yes, we can see you. Yes, I can see you now.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Okay, this is case number 32, appeal number HA 2022-002486. Appellant is Marguerite Gamble. Address is 2028 East Tupple Street.
Okay, thank you. And who's representing the city?
Caroline Curley.
Good afternoon, Ms. Curley. Ms. Gamble, I need you to raise your right hand so we can swear you in, please.
Okay,
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth so help you God?
so, I do.
All right, thank you. You can place your hand down. Okay, what we will do, Ms. Gamble, Ms. Curley, representing the city's law department, will present the city's position, then we will hear from you, okay?
Okay.
And your image has gone out again, but that's okay. We'll just continue to proceed ahead. Ms. Curley?
Good afternoon, board. The department's witness is Inspector Williams. I do see him on the screen. I just need him to unmute and turn on his camera. Thank you, Inspector Williams. I would just
Okay.
ask that he be sworn in.
Yeah, Mr. Williams, raise your right hand so that you may be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Curley, please proceed.
Good afternoon, Inspector Williams. Can you describe your position and length of employment with the Department of License and Inspections?
Just a moment, please,
Yes.
if I may. Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
looking at the appeal, it would appear Ms. Gamble is a tenant in the property
Yes.
and not the owner of the property.
Right. Okay.
As we proceed, I just want to make sure we're dealing with a tenant who's appealed the notice to cease.
Okay. So noted. Thank you. Okay, please proceed.
Inspector Anthony Williams, Code Enforcement Inspector, North Central. I've been in this position for 3 years.
Okay, and can you just briefly describe what you do for the Department of License Inspections for the board?
Okay, we handle complaints, complaint-driven inspections, and we basically fire safety and property maintenance inspections with regards to the different violations that we have to write with regards to our code enforcement procedures and property maintenance procedures.
And you're familiar with the property at 2028 East Tulpahawken Street?
Yes.
Were you able to do an inspection of that property?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Can you see it?
Yes.
Can the board see it?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Inspector, do you recognize City Exhibit 1 and what are we looking at here?
That is the entrance to the basement. And that was viewed from the first floor kitchen area to down to the basement.
Okay, and when you went to this property, where is Miss Gamble living in this property?
Well, I spoke with another resident of the house who said he was the owner, Mr. Langley, and he told me that Miss Gamble occupies the basement.
And is the basement what we're looking at in this photo?
Yes.
Okay, can you describe to the board what are the safety concerns about the condition of the basement?
Well, there were tons of combustible storage, and that means of egress. I mean, there's another means of egress for the back, but that means of egress was completely blocked.
And when you say combustible storage, what do you mean here?
Boxes, cans, a whole bunch of other stuff that was unidentifiable, but it was a ton of boxes in that stairwell right there.
Did you have safety concerns about Miss Gamble living in the basement specifically?
Yes.
And can you just describe that a little bit more for the board?
Well, for one, it's not zoned for that, so that's the one thing. But then to have that amount of stuff in there, and like I said, it's combustible storage is a extreme safety hazard for her.
Okay. And you said it's not zoned. Does this property have a rental license?
No.
Do you have
Not
any?
an active one.
Not an active one. Okay. Is there any other space that Miss Gamble was residing at in this home?
Well, in subsequent talks with Miss Gamble, she told me that she had access to a room upstairs, and that she was in conflict with the owner, which was the reason why she was occupying the basement.
Were you able to see that room, that potential room, to verify that she had access?
No, not when I did my inspection the first time.
And when you spoke to her, did she confirm that she was in fact living in the basement?
Yes,
Okay. Gonna move to City Exhibit 2. What is this photo?
that's also that same stairwell to the basement. I just took a couple pictures.
And this is, what is this?
This is the rear entrance to the basement. There was, a ton of storage out there as well that was in front of the door. I couldn't even access the door at first.
So do you also have concerns about the means of egress for Miss Gamble in this location?
Yes,
Okay. And moving on to City Exhibit 4, do you recognize this as the intent to cease for this property?
yes,
This is the document that was provided to Miss Gamble.
yes. It was delivered to that rear door back there where she occupies.
Okay.
And then one also went to the owner.
And let me ask you, when was the last time you went to this property? What was the date?
The day that I delivered that intent to cease, which would have been May 23rd, I believe.
Okay. And on May 23rd, was the property still in the condition that we are viewing it in exhibits 1 through 3?
The upstairs was still the same. I mean, that stairwell was still the same, but the backyard had been cleared a little bit.
Okay. Did your safety concerns still exist when you last inspected the property?
Yes,
Okay. And City Exhibit 5, you recognize this as the notice and order to correct that was delivered to the owner.
yes,
And this cites the violations to the owner, not to Miss Gamble, but to the owner.
yes,
And those were delivered as well?
yes,
Okay. And at this point, is it the department's intention for the cease to still continue? Or
Yes,
for
that
the
is-
to be put in effect,
yes, that is correct.
given the safety concerns you've identified today?
Yes.
Okay, I'll just ask for the admission of cities exhibits 1 through 5.
So noted, they'll be admitted.
I do not have anything further for this witness. I reserve for rebuttal.
Okay, Miss Marguerite Gamble.
Yes.
Do you have any questions of the inspector based on his testimony? If you don't, just tell us what you understand to be the circumstance here.
Okay, well, I do have a bedroom upstairs, and so that, I do have a bedroom upstairs. I choose to run up and down the steps when things are not favorable for me to be upstairs. I come downstairs, so I have a bedroom upstairs on the second floor. So that I do have. And the other thing is that, those things that were in the stairway and the hallway, they've all been removed because once the citation was there, that was just there because of the internal conflict that we're having in the household. So all of that has been cleared and the backyard is completely cleared. So everything that he saw now doesn't exist.
Okay, now, are you a tenant? Do you have a lease to live there?
Yeah, I have a relationship with the mother, the owner of the property. She was a personal relationship. And so I was giving her money, etc. And so, but she also has we had a different kind of a contractual relationship.
Okay,
So-
but before you go therefore, I'm asking you, do you have a written lease?
Oh,
that
yes,
gives you-
yeah.
Okay, what is the written lease? Is it 1 year, month to month? What kind of lease is it?
Okay, it is, I think she said it was, we were doing it month to month, or it was as needed per basis. So we went through 1 year, and after we went 1 year, then we're gonna do 2 years, all right? So now we're in the 4th year.
Okay, and so have you signed a new lease or your original lease
So
is?
right now, I was gonna leave, I was leaving.
No,
the
no,
premise.
no. Answer my question. Did you sign a
Oh.
new lease?
I have a lease extended to 2020, this is 2022 to 2022,
Okay, and what is your monthly rent?
$400.
Okay, and that gives you access to a bedroom and a common kitchen
Yes,
and a common bathroom.
right.
How many rooms are rented out in that space?
Well, there's only the 2 of us.
Oh, you and the owner of the property?
Right, that's it.
Who is the owner of the property?
That's Mary Langley.
Miss Mary Langley. Okay, Miss Mary Langley, she's your landlord and a personal friend. Is that it?
That's it. A confidant, right? Yes.
Okay, a personal friend. And so when the two of you have had conflict, you retire to the basement sometimes.
Oh, no, she smokes cigarettes and she promised not to smoke in the household, but she does smoke in the household. When she smokes, I just go down to the basement, or that's what I
Okay.
do.
Do you regularly sleep in the basement?
No, I sleep. It all depends upon if she's smoking. Like if she's smoking during the middle of the night, I can smell the smoke and I have to get up because I have asthma. And So
Okay.
I don't want to have an asthma attack. So everybody knows that. It has a no
Okay.
smoking sign on the front door. And
Okay.
she says she doesn't smoke but 5 cigarettes a year, but she smokes more than 5 cigarettes a month.
Okay. Okay. But she's the owner, so that's the conflict that occurs between the two of you. And so thus far, there's only 2 people living in the house. Is that correct?
That's what we had. Yes.
Have there ever been more than 2 of you in the house?
No, well, right now her son, who lives in Montgomery County, and his friends are now in and out the house. I don't know what that's about, but she and her son was having a conflict. And so they were having all kind of conflicts.
Okay,
But
but
now
he doesn't live there though, correct?
well, he has a place in Montgomery County, so I don't know what he's doing, but I know it's a conflict between them. Okay.
Okay. All right. So
I'm trying to get out. I'm just trying to leave.
You planning to move out? When are you planning to move?
I'm trying to be done. It was January the 3rd. I was packed up ready to leave, but he took all my possessions and all my ID. So now I've got another conflict on the table because he's taken all of my money, my jewelry, my underwear.
Who did that?
This is her son.
So her son, have you filed a police report?
Yes, I have many police reports. I have a lawsuit levied against them right now as we speak.
And
I'm
so
trying to-
let me ask, did the police respond to your complaint regarding the theft of your possessions?
Yes, and the detectives, they went through it and said I had to take him to landlord tenant and then small claims court or whatever, or claims court, because or in the DA's office. So they gave me all these sheets of paper as to what I need to do to him to get my things back and whatever. So that I have a lawyer, and she was going to be with me today, but she had other hearings to deal with, and she told me that all I had to do was tell Ellen and I that the things on that were the violations were we've cured all of those things, and the stairway is clear, the hallway is clear, and the backyard is clear.
Okay. Miss Curley, what is this, if in fact what Miss Gamble is saying is accurate, what does that do to the cease?
I just asked a couple questions. Miss Gamble, where are you located right now?
Right now, I'm on the property to do this call. I would have not been here.
You're in the
at all.
property right now? And what room of the house are you in right now?
Right now, I was outside in the backyard, but now because my phone had problems, now I'm at the I'm at the electrical devices, and I'm in the basement with electrical devices because my phone charges and things I couldn't access from where I was because I had problems.
So are you using your phone right now or your computer?
Yes, I'm using my iPad right now because we had problems, so I was losing everyone and no one could hear me, so they helped me out. I had to go to the electronic thing, any outlet. So I just ran inside to make sure I didn't miss my appointment.
Okay. Can you show us the stairwell? Is that possible?
I may lose you because I got this iPad that doesn't work.
Let's just
Yeah, but I
try.
can't ask the inspector. What I called this morning and I told the inspector that called over at LNI, and I told them that I don't really know this process, but anyone can come out because they told me that they'll come out and re-inspect the place. So that's what I had in mind. But if I take you out of this plug, I may lose you, and I don't want to lose my hearing.
We will not let that happen.
All right. Okay, so you're gonna be there?
Yep, let's try it.
Okay, I'll try it. Okay. All right, call me back. I'll call me back. Okay. Can you see the stairway?
We can. Can you move up?
Yep.
Okay. Can you move up to the door if possible?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Can you open the door?
Yes. Oh, he's locked the door. I can't go in. He's locked the door. Seems so ridiculous. He's locked the door. So I can't get into the kitchen right now because he's upset because I have asked for this hearing. I have with him, so I have a protective order about his abusiveness. So, you know, I can show you the backyard, but
Okay.
He's-
Yeah.
he's-
How do
he's-
you get out of the basement?
okay, yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Miss Gamble. You can go back.
Okay, and see the backyard is completely clear, okay? It's like, whatever, so I need to get back to the thing, so I don't want to lose you.
Yep. Take your time.
But Ms. Curley, does this matter still meet your standards for a cease?
I would, I'm just gonna recall the inspector. I likely believe we'll have a resolution here.
Okay.
Well, sorry, it still meets the grounds for the cease because it's a non-habitable space. There's no zoning for anyone to occupy the basement, so it still would meet the qualifications for our cease.
And let me just ask you, Inspector Williams, the immediate safety concerns that you had about all the means of egress has to that portion has, based on what you just observed in the home today, does that violation at least seem to be resolved?
Oh yes, they've done a great job of cleaning it up.
Okay, all right.
And it appears that she's not living in the basement. She's living in another room on a different floor. This is a whole nother level of conflict that I believe is outside of the realm of the board.
Yeah, I have my room upstairs, but there's so many conflicts internally that I'm up and down because of what is happening emotionally and psychologically and behaviorally, that I'm just up and down. And it's like I gotta breathe. So when they smoke cigarettes, I can't breathe. I mean, I have asthma, I have wet lungs, and you know, and they keep smoking cigarettes.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions from anyone?
Ms. Gamble, you said you were looking for another place to live. Have you pursued that? And you said you're paying $400 a month to live in this house. Were you, if you were looking, what were you expecting to pay to live in another property?
Okay, well, I have two places where I'm a senior citizen. So I'm a real senior citizen. And that's why I don't know how to do these electronics. But I have these agencies from Representative Stephen Kinsley office and Representative Chris Rapp's office and Commissioner, Councilwoman Sherelle Parker and Cindy Bass. They're all trying to help me to get in a senior citizen place to just be safe and have some peace. So they're the two other places I have requires like $3,200 and $2,400 for a deposit, which I really don't have. So I've applied to the agencies that help people who need some help with down payment assistance for things. And so I'm in their system. I'm in all of these systems. And right now I just need whoever comes up first, that's where I'm going. Whatever is available to me, that's where I'm going. Because this is an unhealthy, well, you know, my thing is this, I just need to I was leaving anyway. So now I just need to the process is in place. So I'm just kind of waiting for my check mark.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
One for the inspector and one for the appellant, if I may.
Yes,
Inspector-
please.
Inspector Williams, was there a bed in the basement when you performed your inspection?
I was not able to gain access to the basement. My confirmation that she was occupying the basement came from both the owner, the owner's son, who I met with upstairs, and from Ms. Gamble herself.
Okay, so the owner's son never took you downstairs to show you?
We were not able to access those
Yes,
basement steps
okay.
because of
Right.
the storage, and the back was no answer.
All right. Okay, Miss Marguerite, have you cleared out the exit from the basement, the rear exit, the debris block?
Yeah, everything is clear. That was in that situation because my landlord's son would throw boxes down the basement.
I just want to know if it is clear currently.
Everything's clear.
as-
Everything's clear. The
as we
hallway
close
is
the video.
clear. The steps are clear. Every entrance is clear because when my landlord told me, when she told me it was a fire hazard and that the code inspection had come out, well, I cleared everything up immediately. But I told her that he throws boxes at me and I throw
Well,
boxes
thank
back
you.
at him.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I guess, Ms. Curley, how do we resolve this? I mean, it appears that the immediate issue is resolvable. And she's attempting to actively move out to secure different housing. And if she is not routinely sleeping in that space, I'm not sure if the cease is the best step. But we need you. Yeah. What else can we do to put, anyone have any comments before we get to a point of voting?
Mr. Chair, we have a very- Go ahead.
My other observation is I don't think we have a zoning violation because according to Ms. Gamble, there's either two, she and her friend, and or the son, which is three or fewer people living in the property. So it's not technically a rental property. You don't need a rental license, I don't believe.
Right. Mr. Tennant, your observation?
Mr. Williams, Inspector Williams has a question or comment.
Well, he has to speak to his attorney.
I would just add, since the board has raised that issue, I would just ask that Mr. Williams respond.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Williams?
Well, if it's a rental property, it does need a rental license for that. And the problem that I have is that it's she can't occupy the basement. I mean, if we go in there and there was no bed or anything down there, then that violation would comply and she could be upstairs. But even if she's staying down there and sleeping down there for, multiple days out of a week or a month or something like that, that's a dangerous situation for her with all the machinery. I mean, that stuff that's down there that could present fumes that could be hazardous to her.
And with that said, Mr. Chair, that was my question. We haven't verified if there was a bedding area down there, a cot or anything. This is just a comment from the owner and the owner's son. The inspector has not verified that.
And I would just add that Ms. Gamble, just to clarify, Ms. Gamble did herself say that she sometimes stayed down there. One thing I would propose to the board is, a city affirmed for the cease as issued, but perhaps propose some sort of stay of enforcement so that Ms. Inspector Williams can go back out, re-verify, ensure that Ms. Gamble has access to a bed in the rest of the home and is able to reside there. I do have concerns based on what we saw today that Ms. Gamble does not have access to the home as the door was locked. But if we are able to verify that, then then there's no need to put the cease in place. However, if in contrast, if we go out there again and the same situation exists, obviously those safety issues would still exist.
Okay, alrighty, let's do this then. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Curran.
Thank you. Let's move to the point now of the vote. Okay, with regard then to HA-2022-002486, Marguerite Gamble, 2028 East Topahawken Avenue, Topahawken Street. City affirms 60-day stay of enforcement.
City affirms 60-day stay.
City affirms 60-day stay of enforcement.
City affirm 60-day stay with that inspection by Williams. Thank you.
City affirms 60-day stay of enforcement.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Gamble. What we've decided is that the position of the city is holds, but they aren't taking any additional enforcement action until for 60 days, during which time Mr. Williams needs to go out and re-inspect. Okay,
Well, the thing is this, everything is clear.
well,
This
he
is
has to
what-
come look at it. We need him to go take a look physically to see all the spaces, okay?
This is what often happens, if I can just say this, when I'm moving my boxes outside in the yard for the guys to take them to the storage for me, my landlord, my housemate, he will go out and turn the boxes over, and then he will go to other people's houses, like we have a garbage collection on Tuesdays, and he will come and throw garbage on top of my packed boxes and things. And I've always stood this position with him is that I'm not going to clean up behind you. So when he does that, I won't clean it up. I will just try to salvage my things. And then it rains. So it's been a serious situation with his behavior. So it's not like I'm not trying to like comply with the city. I really didn't know that.
Ms. Gamble, you appear to be a credible witness, and we hear you. We understand what you're trying to say to us. And the inspector he's a professional. He will be able to see through that and will be able to make a determination. We're principally concerned about there being no beds and things in the basement. And so,
There are no beds at all in the basement.
okay, he'll be able to determine that, and he'll be able to determine there's easy access from the basement to the upper floors. Okay, he'll make that determination. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Let's move on to the next matter. Have a good afternoon, ma'am.
See Mr. Reuter.
Yes. Would you mind muting Miss Gamble, Miss Alford, if you can?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Let's call in the last matter.
Okay, this is case number 28, appeal number HA-2022-002287, James M. Abreu de Villar, and the address is 6811 Oxford Avenue.
Okay, as Mr. James M. Abreu de Villar presented himself? He hasn't? Okay. What time do you have, Mr. Pincus?
3:59 p.m.
3:59 p.m. Mr. Router, what is your preference?
Thank you. I just want to note for the record, this matter concerns a zoning violation. A 6-foot-high fence was erected around the perimeter of the property without a zoning permit, which is required for a fence of that height, and also because it's opaque. I do note for the record that the appellant did file an application for a zoning permit to legalize the fence, and that was refused because it's not permitted. And they have filed an appeal to seeking a variance to allow the fence that is pending at the Zoning Board of Adjustment, which I believe is scheduled to hear it sometime in July. So based upon that and the appellant's failure to appear today, we would, I would, rather than asking that it be dismissed, we would ask that the matter be marked city because the application to legalize the fence and the appeal to the zoning board itself acts as an admission that the violation is correct. They do in fact have a fence that's 6 feet high, and that they're not permitted. They don't have a permit to allow that. So we just simply ask that the matter be marked and city affirmed. I'm fine with staying enforcement until the zoning board matter is completed. So city affirmed with 60-day stay. I have Inspector Mohammed is here who can simply verify what the city records show in terms of the fact that they did file the permit application and that they have the pending variance appeal.
Mr. Ryder, the issue though is that the appellant isn't present. And so without that person being present, we can't conduct a fact-based hearing. And so that's where we get to the point of non-appearance.
I understand, and that's fine. If the board wants to, I'm trying to avoid it being dismissed for lack of appearance and then the appellant coming back.
I don't think we have a choice. We either do that or we could, we either do that or we continue it.
Well,
We
then
can't-
we're
we can't-
fine then with dismissing for lack of appearance.
Okay, all right, because otherwise that middle ground doesn't work if the appellant isn't present. He's not here to represent himself or no one else is here to represent his interests. And so give me a time, Miss. I think we're at 3:59, Mr. Pincus.
That's correct.
Okay, with regard then to HA-2022-002287, James M. Abreu D. Villar, and that's capital D-E, capital V-I-L-L-A-R, 6811 Oxford Avenue, City affirm lack of appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
Thank you very much. That's the final
Thank you.
vote.
That concludes my business. Maybe.
Thank you so much. Have a good afternoon. Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Thank you for getting back to us. Okay, is Anna